Heather and I are doing some casting or modeling for casting. I'm working this wax pattern and I almost forgot to weigh it first. We need to see what our how much metal we're going to add. So we're going to use the handy dandy Pepe Tools Touch-O-Matic to mount this, but first we're going to weigh it and we're going to take a look at Heather's doing a more traditional casting technique. She's working the cuttlefish.
I'm fine-tuning my design at this point. It's pretty much carved in. I'm just looking at the levels of the bone, because if you notice that this is kind of layered, and so the deeper you go, you get little layers stacked on top of each other, and it's very delicate. So I'm just fine-tuning it at this point, just taking off teeny tiny bits. And as I go, I use my brush to go ahead and knock the dust out of those grooves. That way I can really see my work, because it will start to build up in those little grooves, and you really want to see what you have there.
The cuttlefish has a natural organic fingerprint texture that runs through it. So what Heather was describing, she's going to use her paintbrush and clean these cavities out, really revealing that one-of-a-kind texture that casts when you use this technique.
What is it you're doing?
So the Pepe Tools wax pen has a touch sensor right here. This activates the heat. We're melting some wax that's down here in our rubber base, just so that it'll have no unusual buildup and kind of hold it in place. And now we're going to fill this little cavity down here so that we have it mounted nice and solid, because we're going to be filling this with the plaster called investment. And I'm kind of new to this tool. I've only used it a few times. It's pretty intuitive. You can see the waxes. You gotta let it harden a little bit after. I'm actually gonna try and flatten this piece and just put it like that. And then we're gonna try and do this. The cleaner our model is, the less cleanup we have on our metal piece.
So you're making that as smooth as possible.
Got our 300 grams of investment. We only got 5 minutes to mix and stir and vacuum. We want like a sour cream consistency. Ideally, I'd have a malt shake blender. That's really good. My grandpa had something like that. He did his with an automated machine. We actually don't want a curve in our vacuum. If we could avoid it. And we want this open when we start. Let that come up to pressure, cap it. We only have 8 minutes for this part. Actually 5, so we're probably already getting close to stirring here. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and shut this off. You can see this is tight. We're gonna stir, pour, then we're gonna vacuum again. See the consistency? We got our flask. They do sell a debubbler. Some people paint on theirs. I don't have any of that. Debubbler prevents any bubbles from forming in our mold. However, the vacuum works most of those out. Any steps you could take to prevent failure are generally worth it, but we're still starving artists. Man, I don't know, it's so hard to get this ratio down. Once we do it more repetitively, we'll know how much to make. I'm short. I could probably make, as you get the bubbles out from low, make some more and put it on the top. Mix up a little bit more.
Just eat it before.
Yeah. An incomplete flask could blow out when we put it in the centrifuge. So our investment is cured, it's hard. We're gonna break our rubber base off. You can see our wax patterns inside the plaster. This is called investment, and it's basically a plaster of Paris that's suitable for high temperatures. So we're using a new investment. My old apparently went bad because I had a few failures. And they want us to start all the way down there at 100 degrees, below 100 degrees. So I guess that's room temp, and we're gonna ramp it up for an hour. You see our wax patterns in the investment. We're gonna use a single brick pocket for the wax that'll collect in. And so this is a new investment. We're gonna follow the directions. We're gonna just keep it on low because it wants us to slowly ramp our tempo. Wax is melted. Here we're heating our silver in the crucible, which will be injected into the flask containing the relief mold using centrifugal force. So here's my grandpa's Botswana agate we made together that inspired this piece. It's similar, but I didn't get the texture exactly the same. We're gonna cut a Botswana agate, put it in here, and that way we'll have one that's similar to my grandpa's. I really like this pattern. I'm trying to recreate it. You could see something like this. Kind of cool, and we could cut any color or gem and put them in these rings. This is Lost Wax, 925 silver. Pretty happy to have a successful casting.
So we've got the dragonfly carved into the cuttlefish bone. What I'm going to do is use the cement board to back it against. That way we're only using one piece of cuttlefish bone per pour instead of two. I already used this once on this pour, and I've sanded it down, and I also widened and took down the burnt part of the cement board from the previous pour.
And channel the sprue.
Yeah, channel the sprue. So now I'm going to put the two pieces together.
Excuse me. This is reusable. This is single use, so we're going to get twice as much use out of the Cuttlebone by using this. Plus, we're going to have a perfectly flush surface on the back.
And so I want to make sure that I can't see any light through it. I do have a few vent holes, and so it looks pretty good to me. And then we're going to wrap it with this steel wire. And we want it to be very securely fitting.
Without crushing it.
Without crushing it, so it is a little bit of a dance. And what I like to do the first time is get it right up there and then give it a twist. And you can do this with pliers if you want to, but again, you want it snug, but you don't want to break the bone, and I have done that, and it's really disheartening when you've carved a cuttlefish bone and maybe it's taking you an hour or so and then you break it. And that actually happened just a couple nights ago.
And this is a single-use process. However, if you come up with a design you like, we'll go show you how you can make a duplicate copy by making a silicone mold of your finished piece and then injecting wax and then
probably good there.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to cut this, and then I'm going to twist it off to the rest of the wire, and then we'll have it ready to go.
So Heather's getting ready to pour our Cuttlebone. We like to set up a little jig to support our crucible to make sure we get a steady pour. One day we're going to get a Craig Dabbler super sand casting jig, but for now we have some stacked steel. That thick nugget's going to require most of your heat, just so you know. That's fun. See our fumes going into the fan. Okay, you need a little more motion. We're getting closer. We're getting closer.
It's gonna be good, but we'll see. So we've let this cool for about 20 minutes. Brass needs to come down to temperature slowly. You don't want to dunk it into water. And now we are going to, here we go.
And we want to make sure that it's completely cool because we're touching this with our hands.
Right, and this is actually very cool to my touch right now. I'm not worried. I'm not feeling any warmth coming off the bone. Oh, there it goes. Oops.
That's all right. These are single use only.
So it filled one side of the wing.
Oh,
and
no.
Only one side, but that's okay. It's okay. We'll keep trying. I was able to change this from a front-facing view to a profile view. What are you doing?
We're getting ready to pour cuttlefish. We're melting a token, part of a Sacagawea dollar, and some jeweler's brass. Pinch of borax to clean our metal. I knew that was a lot of metal, but I don't. You have to estimate, and I wanted to err on the side of caution.
Smells like burnt hair, but it's really not bad, guys.
Ooh, yeah, internet. Want good ventilation in your casting space, metalsmithing space. Gonna let that cool. See how it poured. And we'll move my poor man's casting apparatus. This feels like it's cool. We let it cool. So the metal's cool, our piece is cool. You just gotta clean it up and cut her out. Then when we got a heart embellishment. And we make these out of recycled glitter. I'm gonna come up with the pendant design. I might put a stone on them. Or solder onto a silver band to make a ring.